Welcome back, guys. You're still watching Breakfast Daily here on City TV. Remember, the show is interactive, and so just send in your comments via the various social media platforms. Don't forget the hashtag Breakfast Daily. You can also send in your comments via WhatsApp. The number is 0550-585832. If you're watching from outside of Ghana, use the country code +233. It's time to talk technology. And of course, we have the host of City Trends on City 97.3 FM and the head of production here at City TV, Kofi Ashon, here with us. What's good, my brother?
Charlie, I'm okay. How are you?
I'm great.
It's been a good week. We've had a pretty good week. Lots of action on the political scene.
Yeah.
And a lot of things happening on the tech scene as well. But as most of the viewers know, City Trends is on a bit of a hold at the moment because of
the football season,
the Premier League.
That,
you know, with all the matches coming in very quickly. So we're resuming in about 2 weeks. So make sure that you stay tuned for that. Yeah. But while we stay tuned in for that, last week we started a conversation
on storage,
on storage on multiple devices, on your devices, whether it's your laptop, your phone, or whichever device that you use. And we spoke about a couple of things, and we talked about the fact that today we're going to get into storage on your mobile phone.
Yeah.
Now, the concepts are basically the same as we discussed last week.
Yeah.
So whether it is, you know, an iPhone that you have or an Android device that you have, and today we'll be also talking about the Huawei Nova 7i. We'll be talking about that in just a bit. But whether it's an iPhone that you have or an Android device that you have or a Windows phone for that matter, the principles remain the same. The phone requires space to be able to function. And we broke all of those things down last week.
Yeah.
Now, in order for your phone to function optimally, you obviously need a lot of space. You need a processor to be quick enough to be able to manage all the different tasks that you give it.
Yeah.
Whether you're opening a phone editor or a picture editor, you're editing a video on the phone, you are playing music, you are streaming video, you are playing video game. The phone needs to be able to manage all of this. Now, it's great that you might have a great processor, but if you don't have a lot of space on the phone, it will not be able to manage all those tasks very carefully or very well. So a couple of things to bear in mind. Firstly, if you love your videos and you love your photos, just know that the more photos and videos that you take, the more space is going to occupy on your mobile device. So one of the first things you need to do when you want to free up space is to look for the photos and the videos that you don't need and delete them.
Awesome.
And that is very simple across both devices, whether it's Android or it is on iPhone. Just look for your photos you don't need and delete them. One of the other things that some people don't probably pay enough attention to is the fact that every mobile device that you have, whether it is a Huawei, it's a Samsung, it's an iPhone, it's Windows, you always have some space allocated on the cloud.
Okay.
So you realize that when you're signing into the phone, it will ask you to sign in to your cloud services, whether it is Google Cloud Services or it is Apple. Cloud Services or it's a Huawei Cloud Services. You always have some allocation in the cloud.
Okay.
That is why you're supposed to use it. You're supposed to store some of these, you know, things that you don't typically need on your phone on a daily basis on the cloud. So that you don't have to clog up the space on your phone. You already don't have enough space already. Typically, most people get about 5 gig worth of free storage space on their mobile device,
or the device
on the cloud. On the cloud, you get a 5 gig allocation, and then you can purchase some more. It's actually not that expensive for you to purchase. I think for 100 gig currently, I'm paying about 10 CDs or 12 CDs or something like that for 100 gig. And so, you know, the space is available. All you need to do is just have your data or have your Wi-Fi on. It will automatically, you know, upload everything at various points in time, so you can delete it from your phone. So that's one of the first things I think people should keep in mind. If you have a lot of photos and videos, either store it on the cloud or delete it from your phone, the ones that you don't need at least. So that's the first thing. Now for Android users, there's a very simple sort of tool that the Android system has made available for you to use. You don't need to download any, you know, weird app or anything like that. There is the Android free space tool that every Android device has. All you need to do is just open phone settings, then go to storage, then go to free up space.
Oh, okay.
So go to phone settings, storage, and then free up space. Okay. Now, there are a number of things that you can do. When you go to storage, to free up space, you can see all the mobile apps that you have downloaded and are currently using, either frequently or less frequently.
Okay.
So when you go through the list, just go all the way to the bottom. You get to see the apps that you typically don't use on a daily basis. My suggestion is delete those first.
Those apps,
because obviously the ones that you use frequently will almost always be at the top. So just scroll down to the bottom and then delete the ones that you don't typically use on a daily basis. Then when you come back to the top, you kind of look through and decide which ones you would need and which ones you don't need. Now, there are two things also you need to bear in mind. There's an option for clearing cache and then clearing storage. Last week we talked about the whole
cache and storage,
the cache, which is CACHE. Now, the cache basically is bits of information that is stored on your mobile device that makes it easier for your phone to remember the things that you like to do. So if, for example, in the morning you like to open your alarm, you like to play music on your way to work, all of those bits of information about your usage of the device or your usage of an app are stored in the cache. For example, if you stream music, all of those bits of information that makes it possible for your music to play very quickly when you start it up are stored in cache. So always bear that in mind. So the phone at least gives you a sense of how much is being stored in cache and how much is being stored generally by the device. So for example, you download some music onto your phone. That information will be available in storage. So that's when you use clear storage. There's some information that you have saved on your device in terms of the app. That is clear storage. But then for the bits of information that the phone typically needs to be able to either launch the app quickly or do some things quickly, all of that is in cache. So the phone gives you the option of two, whether you delete cache or you delete storage. So you can choose between the two. Typically, I would say clear the cache first before you consider clearing storage. Because sometimes when you clear the storage, you do clear a bit of information that you need. Sometimes you haven't really thought about just how much dependent you are on the app. So my suggestion is clear the cache first before you consider clearing the storage. But at least you have those two options to choose from.
Great.
Now, like I said, check on your apps as well. What kind of apps do you use on a daily basis? Like I said, scroll all the way to the bottom and then delete those ones first.
Less frequently used.
So then just scroll through it, look for the ones you don't typically use, and then delete them. And like I said, always consider storing some of your photos, especially online, because you don't typically use them every day. I'm guessing that pictures that you took at a wedding 3 years ago, you'll probably want to see it later, for reminiscent purposes.
But people have concerns with safety, saving the photos.
Well, that's the thing.
How secure is
How secure it is. Well, your cloud storage is very, very secure if you take a few things into mind. For example, two-factor authentication should be something you should have across all your services that you interact with online. It's not enough having a password. You need to have two-factor authentication. We've explained this before. But then for those who are not necessarily aware, two-factor authentication basically, the basic idea is that you have two levels of security checks before someone or yourself can access your account. So typically you have a password as the first line of defense. Then you have a special PIN code, a one-time password that is sent to you for you to enter before you can get access to your account. So those two levels are very, very important. And if you're going to start storing material online, your cloud, then you have to have those things in place. One other thing that a lot of people don't typically tend to do is to clear downloads. You download a number of things, PDFs, and all manner of things on your phone. And sometimes you genuinely forget that you are saving all these things. Some people in their WhatsApp, for example, they turn on automatic download of media. What happens is over time, all the media that you automatically download stored on the device. And it will take up space. So you need to be aware of all of these things, whether it is Android or iPhone. You always have to be aware that there's a lot happening in the background. So with every app that you install, you have to as a matter of, urgency, turn off automatic downloads, especially for media, because you just don't know what sort of media it is downloading. People belong to like 5 different or 10 different groups. Imagine all the media you are downloading every day. So people need to be aware of that. So just go into the settings either of WhatsApp or whichever apps that you have, and turn off automatic downloads either via Wi-Fi or mobile data. All of it is still taking up space. So you need to bear some of these things in mind. If you have an iPhone, we've talked about Android. If you have an iPhone, I mean, it's very, very simple. Just go into settings, go to storage. Everything will be broken down for you. It breaks everything down for you in terms of all the apps and the space that's actually taking. It allows you to be able to delete some of the documents or delete the app totally if it is taking up space. It also shows you which other platforms on your phone are taking up space, so you have a good idea. Most people, I think about 80% of people I've interacted with end up having a lot more space being taken up by WhatsApp than most of the other devices. So what I will also suggest is go into the apps that are taking up a lot of space and then clear the information from there so you can have a lot more space to play with.
Right. So, yeah, basically we'll have some messages coming in. This one says, good morning, CT. I'm Samed, watching you from Palladium. Please, most of the times, if I delete, it shows move to trash. And I'm sure the trash is what is causing consumption of the storage.
Yes, so typically when you move to trash, it stays in trash for a bit before it is finally cleared. It stays in trash for a bit. Sometimes it stays there for 10 days or 5 days, depending on the system settings, which you can adjust later on. For example, if you have an iPhone and you delete a photo, it goes into recently deleted. So you have to go into recently deleted to delete it from there before it's completely off the device. So you need to bear that in mind as well. Some of these deleted material are stored temporarily on the phone, because sometimes in a haste you might delete something that's very, very important. So often it keeps it around for a bit before it will finally get rid of it after a couple of days.
Awesome. So that's it about storage on the mobile device. Be it Android, be it Apple,
be it iPhone, and so talking about devices, one of the devices that I've been reviewing or looking at the last couple of days is this little baby here. It's the Huawei Nova 7i.
Nova 7i.
Yeah, Nova 7i. I don't know if you want to take a quick look at it. Yeah, it's a very interesting device with the 4 cameras in the back. A couple of things on the camera. So there's a 48 megapixel main camera in the back. There's an 8 megapixel ultra wide lens. And then there are two 2-megapixel cameras. One of them is for macro pictures. I'll explain that in a bit. And one of them is for, in terms of blur effect and what they call bokeh effect.
So here you are. Let's see if you can run us through the various features.
So basically, these are the 4 cameras on the back of the device. Like I said, there's a main camera, which is the 48 megapixel, which is a big deal. Then there's an 8 megapixel ultra wide lens, so you can get like very ultra wide photos. Then there's one called the macro. So for example, I want to get like the I want to zoom. I want to get a very close photo or a shot of the pimples on your face. That is, the camera that allows you to do that.
My hair.
Yeah, no. Let's not get into the hair conversation. So, so you have these 4 cameras basically working together to give you some pretty good photos. You have a 6 megapixel front camera, for 16 megapixel front facing, for your selfies and things like that. You have a 4,200 milliampere battery. So far in all my tests, it's proven to take me through the day. Depending on your usage, actually, I use it for very simple stuff. So it actually takes me through the day. If you're someone who loves to play games, it's most likely by 6 p.m., 7 p.m. you might be having to charge. But it charges very, very quickly. That's the one thing I also like about it. It's a very, very quick device. It comes with 8 gig of RAM and then 128 of storage. So you have a lot of storage to play with.
How long is the zoom?
I haven't really explored that like in full effect, but it's like about 10x zoom and things like that. But those are technical things. What I still have a problem with this device is the fact that you basically are moving away it's not necessarily a big problem, but you're moving away from the Google service. This is one of the first devices that have been launched in Ghana that moves away from the Google services to the Huawei mobile services.
Okay.
So the apps that you typically have on the Google Play Store, you're not going to have that. There's a new app gallery that you're going to have to choose from. And so that might be a bit of a learning curve for quite a number of people. But there are quite a number of apps that are pretty interesting that you could find, but it's a bit of a learning curve. So if you're going to purchase it, you always have to keep that in mind as well.
Awesome. Amazing stuff. Philip, it's always great to have you, host of City Trends on City 97.3 FM. And of course, our head of production here at City TV.
Hi there. We hope you enjoyed the show.
Make sure to subscribe, like, comment, and share with your friends.
This is Breakfast Daily on City TV.
Join the Breakfast Daily team Monday through Fridays from 7:30 a.m. to 10. Join us for breakfast daily, only on City TV.